In my life as a medium, I sometimes get called on by the spirit world to be a personal shopper for them. And I say that out loud and I think I sound a little crazy, but it is the truth. Years ago, I was asked by a male spirit who showed up in my bedroom one night at 11 o'clock, and he asked me to buy his daughter a Black Forest cake and a bouquet of flowers. And I knew the daughter's name, and I knew where she worked. And at the time that this male spirit popped in, I was just fading off to sleep. So I said to him, remind me tomorrow morning because I might forget. So at 11 o'clock the next morning, again, I hear his voice very quietly. He said cake and flowers. And I went off on a mission. I bought the cake and flowers and I delivered them to this lady at her work. And when she heard I was looking for her, she came running out of the office and she said, "Oh, did you hear from my dad?" And I said, "Yeah, as a matter of fact, I did. At 11 o'clock last night, he popped in and asked me to buy you these." And I gave her the cake and flowers. And she said, "Oh my gosh, I have been praying to him every night for the last week." And I said, "Well, obviously he heard your prayer because he popped in last night and asked me to do this for you." And when he had asked me to buy a Black Forest cake, I kind of argued with him. And I said, "Are you sure? Because Black Forest is an acquired taste. Like, not everybody likes Black Forest cake." And he said, "No, I'm sure." Well, it turns out that it was his favorite kind, according to his daughter. And when I was leaving that day, she said, "Hang on a second now. Let me give you some money to cover the cost of cake, flowers, and delivery." And I said, "No, he'll look after me." And she laughed and she said, "How is he going to do that?" And I said, "I don't know, really, but I'm sure he'll find a way." Well, the very next day, I won $92.10 on the Super 7 lottery, more than I'd ever won before. It wasn't enough to make me rich, but it was more than enough to cover the cost of the cake, flowers, and delivery, certainly. And there have been other times when I've been asked to buy things. One instance more recently was at Walmart about 2 years ago now. In December, it was a few weeks before Christmas. I was out doing some shopping. It was late at night. There wasn't many people around. And when I got to the register to pay for my items, this male spirit popped in. He said, "Buy a $50 gift card." And I thought, okay. I don't question it. I know people think, it sounds a little crazy that I would actually just go ahead and do that, spend my money on something that I don't know why I'm buying it. But I really trust the spirit world to guide and direct me and to look after me. And so when this gentleman, I don't know his name, said, "Buy the $50 gift card," my instant reaction was, okay, I will. I bought the gift card. I tucked it in my wallet and headed out to my car. But before I got to my car, my eye was drawn to a woman taking a baby out of a car seat and putting the baby in the stroller. So I knew they were going in to shop. And it was a little black SUV. And I suddenly felt this push, like, just go. And I thought, all right, I'm going. I took the gift card out of my wallet and I walked over to this woman and I just literally and simply said, "Merry Christmas from someone on the other side who really loves you." I handed her the gift card and walked away. I didn't ask her name. I don't even know if she said thank you. I think she was really just too stunned to say anything. And I couldn't pick this woman out of a lineup if my life depended on it. All I know, it was a little black SUV, and I believe it was a tribute. I'm not even 100% sure on that, but that's what it resembled. And when I got in my car, I said to this male spirit, "Okay, I've done this, but when I die and I do my life review, can I know what that was all about? Can you show me in my life review what was going on in this woman's life at that time that you felt the need to do this? And who are you?" He didn't respond, and I don't know. So I'm assuming that maybe when I die and get to do my life review that I will actually get to know what that was all about. By far, I've done the most personal shopping for Marlene. And October represents the 10th anniversary of Marlene's death. And I have never been so moved emotionally by any soul like I was with Marlene. And I've never learned as much from any soul as I did from Marlene. And she'd often ask me to do things. She wanted me to buy Stuart a gift for his 30th birthday. For his fiancé, just prior to their wedding, she had me buy a snowflake pendant. For her grandson, she had me buy a blanket, a Spider-Man blanket. For her daughter, there was a necklace with a diamond in the center. And yes, I've done all those things for her. I made all those purchases on her behalf at my own expense. I have been looked after in that regard. I did receive a very large gratitude check from a client at one point in time, which I really didn't want to take, and I used the bulk of the money to pay it forward and to do things for other people, you know, little acts of kindness. But Marlene also gave me something very special, and it's this blanket right here, this blue blanket. It's a blue double blanket, but I was driving home one day after having lunch with a friend, and there was something coming up that Marlene wanted me to do with Stuart, and normally whenever we did any interactions on Marlene's behalf, I always had the hockey blankets in the car that I used. But in this case, it seemed she wanted me to do something special. So when I was coming home from lunch, she gave me the little nudge to stop in at this local department store. And it's not a store I enjoyed going to. And I argued about this, and all she would say is humor me. And I thought, okay, I'll go. And I swear, if you could see the videotape of me walking through the entrance that day, you would see me muttering to myself about at least tell me where I'm going. Like, what department am I going to here? Like, give me some clue. I knew I had to go in, but I had no idea why I was going in or what I was going to be coming out with. And she directed me to the bedding area. And I thought, okay, I'll go. So I wander down, and I'm walking the aisles, and I'm looking at everything, and I'm just kind of waiting for a little nudge or ding or something to say, stop here or do this. And after a few minutes, when I got in front of these blankets, and there were blue ones and white ones, she prompted me to stop. And she said, take a blue double. And I looked at the price, and I went, no, I am not paying $40 for a blanket I don't need. I have the hockey blankets in the car. They're fine. They've worked fine before, and they'll work fine again. And as I'm arguing with her, mentally, she said, Linda, look down. Lynn, look down. That's exactly the word she said was, Lynn, look down. And I looked down on the floor, and sticking out from the corner of the shelf was a gift card. And there was a dollar amount written on the back of this gift card, because the way it had fallen, the face was down, and I could see like the writing on the back and the barcode. So when I saw the writing on the back, I knew that this was a used gift card. It wasn't a blank one that was waiting to be loaded. So I thought, oh my God, you have got to be kidding me. I reached down, picked up the card, took the blanket, and as I'm walking up to the cash with it, I said, Marlene, if there is not enough money on this card to pay for this blanket, I will buy it, I will take it, but I am not keeping it. I will return it. I am not being out 1 penny for this blanket because it's not necessary. So I get to the register, and I lay the blanket down, and I say to the young woman at the register, I don't know if there's anything left on this gift card. And I'm thinking, oh dear God, I feel like a thief, even though there was no way of finding out who owned the gift card because it was just a barcode on it. And I handed it to her, and as she rang in the blanket with tax, it came to $45.97. That's exactly how much that was on that gift card. I took the blanket home, and I mean, as I'm driving, I would kind of look down at it. And I kind of look down at it, and I think, seriously? Seriously? You've just bought me a blanket, which I really don't need, but you bought me a blanket. And I took it home, and I actually left it in the wrapping and in the department store bag with the receipt, because I'm thinking, I don't know if I can keep this. Like, my conscience was sort of partially eating away at me, even though it had been paid for and I have the receipt to prove it. But it was just kind of funny, you know. It sat there for 3 days, and I would look at it and debate. And finally, one day, my son, who was about 12 at the time, said, Mom, are you ever going to take that blanket out of the bag? And I thought, oh, what the hell? You know, I'll keep it. And so I took it out, and I washed it, and I keep it folded on the back of the rocking chair in my living room. And the funny thing is, in my world, my boys will refer to the blanket as Marlene. So not just the boys, but Sarah as well. But when they're sick or when they're cold or whatever, you know, they'll say, can we borrow Marlene? But they know that there's no food or drink anywhere near it. I do not want it stained or soiled in any way, because there is never going to be another one. Whew. Whew. Sorry. I have trouble telling the story. Like I said, I have never been as moved or as touched by any soul as I have by Marlene. And, you know, often I sit with the blanket just to sort of feel her presence. And Stuart and I did use it. No, we actually didn't. No, we actually didn't. He wasn't able to make it that evening. I used the blanket that evening. And man, what a journey that was. What a journey. But I just wanted to share the story of me, Marlene, and my blanket.